Chapter 1. Leaving is not the same as arriving. I used to imagine leaving Uganda would feel like winning something, a prize, a future, a chance at a life bigger than the one I inherited. Instead, the day I left felt like a slow heartbreak nobody warned me about. The sun was just rising over Kampala when we drove to Entebbe Airport. The city was alive in the way only Kampala can be. Boda-bodas weaving between taxis, street vendors already shouting prices, dust lifting in small golden clouds. It looked like any other morning, but for me, everything felt final. My mother stood unusually still in the airport parking lot. She always had energy, the type that filled a room without effort, but that morning she moved carefully, like a woman trying not to break anything inside herself. She held my elbow when we walked, as if letting go would mean losing me completely. She didn't cry, not the dramatic tears I expected. Instead, her eyes kept doing this small, trembling thing, blinking too often, as if tears were trapped behind her eyelids begging to fall. My father was the opposite, expressive, emotional, never pretending strength he didn't have. But that morning, he forced himself into silence. He kept clearing his throat, nodding at nothing, looking at everything except my face. I knew what that meant. Men in Uganda don't cry in public, especially not fathers sending sons abroad. But grief doesn't care about culture. We stood by the entrance for too long, all of us trying to act like goodbyes could be stretched. Around us, other families released their loved ones, some crying loudly, some pretending to be brave, some standing far apart because saying goodbye is easier when you don't touch. When it was my turn, something inside me trembled. My mother hugged me like she was trying to learn the shape of my body for memory. She smelled like home, sweat, soap, and maize flour. The smell that raised me, the smell Canada would erase. My father placed his hand on the back of my neck, his fingers firm, almost shaking. "My son," he said, his voice breaking on the second word, "make us proud." I wanted to tell him I was scared. I wanted to tell him I wasn't ready. I wanted to tell him that leaving felt like losing. But immigrants don't confess fear before departure. We swallow it. We nod. We promise. We walk away. When I entered the airport, I didn't turn around. Not because I didn't want to see them, because I knew if I did, I wouldn't leave. The airplanes feel different when you're leaving forever. The seats look smaller. The air feels thinner. The sound of other passengers becomes muted, as though grief has its own frequency. As the plane lifted above Lake Victoria, I pressed my